Hello, I'm ABX Toycat and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about RubyDung. RubyDung, for those who don't know, and I wouldn't blame you if you're included in that category, is the game that eventually grew into Minecraft. That's right, this is the game Notch was developing at one point that was going to be this third-person base building game that eventually turned into what we now know as Minecraft, and I thought it'd be cool to share details about it so you can see, what became Minecraft and how that whole thing happened. So please do like the video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot and lets me we'll see more stuff, but let's get straight into the video. So a lot of this information comes directly from Notch. A few years ago, he did a post called The Origins of Minecraft, and he actually explained a lot of how these things came about. Combine that with a little bit of research about these other games, and you end up kind of getting the feel of how Minecraft went from what was going to be a base building game into what we now know as this first-person like fantasy mining / crafting game. And I just think it's kind of crazy. So yeah, let's start with how RubyDung first came about, because basically when Notch started to go independent on developing games, one of the ideas he had was to develop a Dwarf Fortress style game. If you haven't heard of Dwarf Fortress, it's kind of this base building 2D game that, although it's a really great game, everyone who loves it, it's a really tricky game to get into. So always make a game like that, but make it more accessible to more people, so that, more people can just pick it up and start playing it. And basically to do that, he had to make a 3D game for the first time. And we've seen a few screenshots of this first 3D engine, and as you can see, it doesn't look too horrendously awful. I mean, it looks, by today's standards, it obviously looks kind of bad, but given that this was just his first kind of attempt, it looks kind of interesting. And you can also see, looking at this, a lot of the early Minecraft textures are in here. If you look at the grass, it's the same kind of kind of slopes and gradients and stuff. And if you look at the the cobblestone texture, you can see it's the old cobblestone texture from the early days of Minecraft. So yeah, looking at this, you can see a little bit of Minecraft influence in there. But how does that eventually turn into Minecraft? So presumably the idea came when one of the things he wanted to put in this game was to have a first-person viewpoint. So apparently this was inspired by Dungeon Keeper, where if you wanted to, you could just go into the head of your minion and see the game. However, these graphics, even though they look just about okay at a distance, when you get really close, they're far too stretched, and it didn't work. So he decided, if he couldn't do it without the idea, he put the project on hold, and that's why RubyDung was kind of cancelled. However, the RubyDung engine did kind of develop into something else, because at one point, Notch decided to play infiminer. Infiminer is probably the biggest individual, kind of contributor to the idea that became Minecraft, because if you've ever seen infiminer, I'll show you some gameplay. It's, it's very Minecraft-esque, but, minus a lot of the core things that make it fun, but it does have that, element of just, let's go find some stuff, let's blow some stuff up, let's play with friends, and that's what Notch really, really loved. And he decided he wanted to improve on infiminer, because, he played it for hours and, he had so much fun with it, but he wanted to improve that. So the things he decided to do was to make a fancy game in the vague style of infiminer, and he used his previous RubyDung kind of experience to make this game work. And the very first test of this new game, this game based on RubyDung and based on infiminer, looked something like this. So you might have seen this before on my channel, but this is the earliest footage we've ever seen of Minecraft, and it's just called Cave Game at this point. But as you can see, it's a lot of the amazing stuff, like the impressive stuff they did with Minecraft, is actually working here. So it generates a world out of the the grass block and the cobblestone block, and it also makes caves using it. And even though this is the most simple concept ever, all it is literally 2 blocks and it's just going around the caves, it's still intriguing. You want to go and explore the cave, at least I do. I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, I want to see what's down there. And he realized he had something really cool and he managed to make this happen, and this is what eventually then grew into Minecraft. So if you've ever been curious as to how Minecraft came about, it started as a top-down base building game that turned into something else, that turned into this, that turned into the cave game, which then eventually turned into Minecraft. However, just as a fun little addendum to the story here, the way the mobs came about, which we also explained the exact same thing, was that he was trying to make a kind of a Left 4 Dead style game, and the mobs used from that game looked a lot like the Steve mob we now know, and obviously that eventually became the character model, and also one of the first mobs in Minecraft, the human mob. Obviously the human mob was removed, but this is where the Steve model comes from, a game called Zombie Town, and I thought it was kind of interesting just to share this with you. And yeah, the Minecraft history is crazy. Even though this stuff is just 6 years ago now, it still feels like so much longer, and like, the crazy just, advancements Minecraft's made since then is kind of cool, and hopefully this video kind of told you a little something you didn't know before. If it did, I'd very much appreciate a like on the video if you did like it, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. Other than that, I'd very much appreciate if you left a comment down below, letting me know which game, that you saw in this thing was like kind of most intriguing to you, because to me, I really look at Infiminer and I'm like, I kind of want to play that, but maybe you're like, maybe I would have preferred Minecraft, it stayed more Dwarf Fortress-y. I'd love to know that in the comments, and other than that, I hope you all enjoyed it, have a nice day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!